Здравствуйте, товарищи, TRZ Plays here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Tier 6 Soviet battleship Sinop. Now, Sinop is named after the Turkish city of Sinop, and there isn't much history to talk about, because this is a design. Would it be cool if it was built? Absolutely. Did the Russians afford building such a beast? No. Seeing that the Russian Empire had its own troubles, and the Soviet Union couldn't be bothered using old Imperial tech. So chances are Sinop wouldn't have even left the drawing board anyway. That was the short-lived history. Let's talk about the commander, which is Mikhail Kedrov. Mikhail Kedrov is a must for my Russian battleships. I like to use him. Not that I don't use Galer, but Galer, in my opinion, only works on Poltava. So, our inspirations are Otto Ciliax and Andrew Cunningham. And Otto Ciliax increases the AP shell damage of your battleships, while Cunningham increases the shell grouping of your battleship's main guns. Again, Cunningham is mostly a must for all my battleships, except for maybe the French, because I mostly use Jojard. And let's talk about the base trait. The base trait is Vicious Circle, which increases the traverse speed of battleships' guns. Why do you need this? Well, easy, because Russian battleship turrets turn very, very slow. Except Lenin. We'll talk about Lenin once we cover it. First skill, not one for the nuisance. Reduce the risk of catching fire or flooding. This is a must. Seeing that it's Tier 6, Atlanta, Flint, Kidd, Benham, Udachi exist, so you're gonna have a tough time, which is why I recommend not one for the nuisance over Brawler. Crisscross, which increases the main battery traverse speed, because you can't use Porcupine on these, because you're not a German battleship. Not that the Russian secondaries aren't effective or anything, it's just because the Germans have the best secondaries in the game, in my opinion, but hey, it's my opinion and I'm allowed it. As for maintenance, go for Collective Labor to increase the duration of damage control party and receive an extra consumable charge for your damage control party, because Russian battleships have always had limited damage control party, even when Nikolai was in the game, because of course it was. Master Mechanic, which increases the amount of HP restored by the repair party consumable while reducing its reload time and adding an extra charge. An extra charge. You actually get 2 of them. So again, this is mostly effective on the Sinop and all your Russian battleships. And finally, we use Wilt Rebuild, which increases HP regeneration rate when repair party is active. Wilt Rebuild, I have an unhealthy addiction to it, seeing that I rarely use running with scissors and never use fight fire with fire. So that was the commander build, and before I talk about the armor and the upgrades, I want to give a huge shout out to the Boat Boys Gaming. He gave me the build, he actually helped me with the build, especially on Ismail and Sinop. So I'd like to thank him. If you're watching this video, hi. And if you want, I'll link his channel in the description. Go sub to him, nice guy. Go ahead. And anyway, back to the main part of the video, and let's talk about the upgrades. Upgrades, Sinop, aiming systems, dispersion of main battery, that's the main reason why. Secondary battery firing range and dispersion of secondary battery, not bad, but you mostly need it for the main battery dispersion. You can use main battery mod, but not really that effective. You get the main battery traverse speed, which is good, but you get that plus 5% reload time, making this battleship reload even slower. Secondary battery mod 2, you're not a German battleship, don't take it. So aiming systems, go for aiming systems, and that's it. Pretend the others don't exist. Second mod, go for steering gears. You can go for propulsion mod, this is technically battle cruiser or damage control for the fire duration, but go for steering gears. I see it as more useful, as torpedoes galore at tier 6. And then we have target acquisition for the spotting range and and torpedo detectability. Sorry for my speech impediment. And I mostly prefer this because, well, tier 6 Asashio, destroyers, especially the invisible Japanese ones that we all know and hate. That's the main issue. So get target acquisition, and also it's the only one there, so you have no other choice. Now let's talk about the armor. Sinop tank, a literal floating fortress, especially with an icebreaker and bow. You can bow tank and angle. And an aggressive Sinop, especially a bow tanking one, is a force to be reckoned with. And it also has stellinium turrets. Well, unless you have plunging fire and get hit from the top. But overall, it has stellinium turrets. You can angle and have all 3 guns bare. The main reason for this is because the Russians took heavy inspiration from the Italian ships, especially the Littorio, because you have 2 turrets in the front, 1 in the back, and you can actually get a decent angle. And otherwise, for HE spam, you literally cannot HE spam. You cannot HE spam at a Sinop. Look at that superstructure. That's just superstructure. There's nothing. You see that? It's nothing. But let's talk about the main problem it has. I sure do like to have HMS Hood Citadel. That every time I get shot at when caught broadside, you get sent to Valhalla. So, giant citadel, again, it's a specialty for the Russian battleships. Apparently they do like to explode. So it's best if you angle or bow tank. Don't recommend going broadside in any ship, let alone Sinop. So that's my personal recommendation. Let's talk about what you have in the loadout. Again, on this side of the spectrum, Sinop at least has a catapult. You can equip either a fighter or spotter. So at least that's something. I go for secondary targeting because, well, I do have close quarters engagements with Bayerns, and I've been rammed by one. Because apparently, if all goes to hell, ram. Then we have repair party for charges. You get 4 charges, plus the 2 you get from master mechanic. And you have damage control party. You have 4 charges, plus the 1 from collective labor, and 40-second reload time, and 12-second consumable duration. This is the balancing effect for the Russian battleships. And once camos become available, you get this camo, which I personally like. This thing never even was built, so I don't know why it has a camo, except it actually looks good. And I would really like to see it actually be in use. So anyway, that's pretty much it for Sinop. Do I recommend Sinop? Yes, definitely. My opinion, it's the best tier 6 tech line battleship you can get, in my opinion. And it's the heavy hitting one, and it's powerful. Granted, it does have a special gimmick like Gneisenau with torpedoes, but it's effective. And what more do you need from a literal floating fortress? So, my goal is get Sinop, play it, wait for the tier 6 rank to come, and play it aggressively. So, overall, Sinop, great comrade, always serving the motherland. And that's all I have to say. I will show you some gameplay. Good luck, and I'll see you on the high seas.
Пожарная тревога. Неполадки устранены.
В яблочко!
Вижу крейсер противника. Обнаружен линкор противника.
Сконцентрировать огонь на указанной цели. Все, кто рядом, захватывают, концентрировать огонь на указанной цели.
Торпеды прямо по курсу. Торпеды прямо по курсу.
Вражеский линкор уничтожен.
Хорошая работа. Союзники, сфокусировать огонь на цели.
Башня главного калибра выведена из строя.
Команда противника близка к победе.
Неполадки устранены. Пожарная тревога.